He's an Oscar winner, a multi-BAFTA winner. He is the effortlessly charming Colin Firth. Here he is. Colin, it's fabulous to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Real pleasure, thank you.
Well, here's the thing. Let me start by just asking you something. It's Oscar time coming up. They've named the nominations, of course. You won the Oscar, and I'm sure everyone knows this, for the King's Speech a few years back. So belated congratulations for that.
Thank you.
An incredible performance in a wonderful film. How is that on Oscar night when you're there, not knowing in advance, then winning? What's that evening like to experience?
Yes, it's... Well, you're in a minority suddenly as a winner. Because I'd been there the year before as a loser, and it's a much bigger party. Because you're among the 80%, you know, not the 20%. Yeah. And there's a real solidarity among people who are commiserating with each other. And so there's a little bit less hatred when you're one of the people that didn't pick something up.
So, in a way, on the evening, it's better to lose?
For that night, it is, yeah. Yeah, you can lick your wounds the next morning. Yeah.
Can you do that? I've tried. I can't reach. I don't know.
Well, we all have wounds in different places.
Of course, you were playing the Queen's mother. Did you ever find out what the Queen's father? I'm sorry, that would have been. That's a film I want to see.
Yeah. You've obviously got intel.
Did you ever find out what she thought or what the family thought of that performance?
Not directly, no. I ran into somebody who was distantly connected to the royal family while I was on a treadmill in a gym. And it's not the best circumstances to really have a conversation and process the information, but I was assured that it was well received.
This year, the Oscars, of course, we've got... It's kind of like Harrow versus Eton. We've got Eddie Redmayne, we've got Benedict Cumberbatch. You've got two of the, you know, fine young actors, representatives of... And I'd always assumed that you came from that kind of background as well.
You and a great many people. No, I was state-educated. And I've run into people who, when I tell them that I didn't go to public school, have literally said, I'm spiralling backwards through space now.
Yeah.
Their whole social geography has just been scrambled.
You seem like one of the poshest guys on the planet.
Well, I'm a fake. You know, that's the wonderful thing about my profession, is it's a wonderful, it's fertile ground for self-reinvention. You know, but... I didn't really do it on purpose. I mean, I was, you know, I had to adapt. I came back from Nigeria and I went to a school in Essex, and it was the first time I'd realised that people my age I'd met people my age who didn't sound like my parents. Yeah. So I hastily tried to catch up and change the way I spoke.
What was your Essex accent like? Can you remember that?
No.
Well, how convenient. I guess, in a way, I mean, the role which I think brought you to many people's attention, people knew of you before, but in '95, when you got the role as Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice, that kind of put you on the map, didn't it? That was the one.
Well, I thought I was on the map, you see.
No, you weren't.
No, was I not?
No, you weren't.
No. Well, it wasn't so much the level of attention, it's just how long it's lasted. It was 20 years ago.
People still think about this scene, this you in the damp blouse.
Well, it is a damp blouse.
It's a damp blouse.
The funny thing is, the whole shirt thing has grown as the rest of it's been forgotten. Yeah. And I was rising from the Serpentine like, in Plaster of Paris form a couple of years ago.
Well, we have a picture of that. This is a weird thing. Look at this. This is a terrifying image. Look at that.
I don't want to take responsibility.
Well, someone has to. No, Am I right in thinking that scene initially you were not meant to be wearing the shirt?
That is true. I was meant to be wearing precisely nothing.
Nothing?
Well, no, you wouldn't whoop if you knew the truth.
Imagine seeing a naked version of you that big rising out the Serpentine.
Well, we don't know what's lying under the surface.
Is it like an iceberg? Is it mainly under the surface?
Yeah, let's say so. The water levels rose.
You have been with your wife now, I believe. Is it for 17 years you've been with...
I think that sounds right, yes.
Well, you really...
Yes, 17 years in.
You really want to get the date. Yeah, I want to get the date in your memory, yeah. What did she think? What did she make of you being held up as a sex symbol? What was her take on that?
Well, once the laughter had died down, the next job was to try and persuade the rest of her family, because I was in Italy at the time, we'd just met, and I proudly swaggered in among my in-laws and announced the fact that I was now a heartthrob. They had the same response that she had had. Yeah. And I went home rather hurt. And then it started to become a kind of almost sociological study among the family. Do English people find constipated repression sexy? And I remember my mother-in-law saying, so is John Major also sexy? And all this business of trying to deconstruct, you know, what it is about English people that would respond to something that they found as profoundly unattractive as my character.
But after 17 years now, A, they must have accepted that's a fact, and B, I imagine you can communicate with them more directly. Your Italian must be pretty good now, isn't it?
It's functional. What will often happen is I'll say, I don't know, ciao, and someone will say, cosa detto? What did he say? And then someone says, ciao. And so my Italian gets translated into Italian by an intermediary. You know, buongiorno. What? Buongiorno. Ah, buongiorno. And then, of course, you go through the gaffes, you know. The interesting thing is that the better you are at a language, the more comical your gaffes become. Because if you can't speak the language at all, there's not much to laugh at. But if everything in your sentence is OK except one word, which is almost OK, yeah, then, of course, that's when disaster hits.
Well, like what? Which kind of words?
Well, I mean, you know, penne, pasta. In Italian, it's very important that you pronounce a double consonant. There are two N's in the word.
So you say it... How do you say it properly?
Penne.
Penne, so you've got bigger N's.
It's the best I can do with it. Penne. That is the pasta, but if you say penne, which is one N, you're asking for a penis.
Wow.
And,
or maybe a whole bowl of penis.
Well, to be, you know, we have to be careful how much you ask for and what you...
And you've got to be very careful when you ask what sauce you want on it. I mean, that could be a...
Well, arrabbiata means angry, you see, because it's spicy.
An angry penis, please.
Well, Italians are very obliging, so you have to be very, very careful what you ask for.
Let's talk about the new movie, Kingsman, The Secret Service, which I should say, in the interest of full disclosure, was written by my lovely wife, Jane. But it's my favourite of the movies she's made. I adore it. Tell people what it's about. Those who don't know already, who haven't seen a trailer, how would you explain Kingsman?
Secret spy organisation. They're all codenamed Galahad, Lancelot, Arthur, so there's a bit of a reference to King Arthur and his knights. So it's the modern-day spy as the modern knight, if you like. And their cover is Savile Row tailors. So it's all clothed in this veneer of the gentleman. And so it's the gentleman spy. It harks back to a kind of vintage era of the gentleman spy. I like to think the original Ian Fleming concept. Yeah. You know? And my character, who's a veteran, is grooming the young fellow. And there's a bit of snobbery.
The use of that word grooming there, I think, might not be...
Yes, it's been tainted, hasn't it, of late? Yeah.
His mentoring.
Well, there's an awful lot you don't see in the...
So he has a young charge that he has to try and bring out the best in.
That's right. So there's a kind of My Fair Lady reference in a way that... because the one great failing of our organisation is there's a kind of snobbish old boy network flavour to it. And so... Quite aside from our skills and our noble agenda and all the rest of it, there's a tendency to shut out people who we consider to be the wrong sort. OK, well, we have a clip to show you, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Kingsman, Secret Service. It opens Thursday all over the UK. Here we go. That's so much fun. That's so much fun, isn't it? You see, in my mind, they were all Hugh Grant.
It was round
it's
two.
It's been a long time for payback, yeah.
But do you, joking aside, do you, when you've done that kind of training, and obviously that's choreographed, but when you've got yourself in good shape and you've done those sort of, and you've learned how to dodge and parry, do you ever feel like maybe this could benefit me in real life? Does that enter your head?
No. Well, I mean, I had an encounter when I was actually, while I was training for this, I'd done months of this. We're doing 3 hours a day every day for months, 6 months or something. And I was working in France and I had a road rage encounter with a very, very aggressive driver who, you know, basically forced me to a stop and got out. And I had that whole calculation that Robert Downey has in Sherlock Holmes where he, you know, takes the measure of everything. And I thought all my reflexes kicked in. And at the end of it, I promptly apologised. Which I like to think was my reflexes.
Yes,
you know?
And probably that's one thing we can all learn, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ultimately,
absolutely.
the best way out of it is the back door. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to stick around, but for now, will you join me in saying thank you to Mr. Colin Firth?
Thank you.